Now, I am sure you guys did not bet that at any point in time would Jarvis and I be talking about Arthur Smith chuckling, smiling, having fun in Flowery Branch, but he absolutely has. It has been not, and the reason I bring that up is because, of course, we've covered Arthur Smith since his day one, and he's a pretty intense guy, but he's got a sense of humor nonetheless, right? But
Yes.
as that team has gotten better and how he's been able to execute his scheme across time, that's really been the biggest part of why he's having the time of his life, his words, not ours. But he also mentioned something that I thought was interesting because we literally just talked about that a couple days ago. And that is, he said one of the biggest things is allowing him to really have fun and it's fun to watch is that battle in the trenches between the offensive line and the defensive line. So it got me to thinking, you were up at Flowery Branch yesterday. What was fun for you to see as a part of that trenches battle?
To be honest with you, T, like the whole iron sharpen iron thing, I started thinking about that, right? As far as those guys, Matthew Bergeron being thrust into action, probably a little bit early, excuse me, than Arthur Smith didn't want it. So when you have that, we talked about how he was going to be going up against guys like David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett, and we saw that battle yesterday, and he held his own. Because here's the thing, like the more and more he faces guys like that, the more that left guard spot that concern level is going to come down for Arthur Smith, and for him to sit up and confirm that, basically, like, yeah, you know what, the rookie held his own.
Yes.
Onyemata probably, if he would have disengaged and got off, he probably would maybe get him sacked, maybe, but the rookie held it down. He anchored down and kind of sat down, like, all right, I'm here. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But and then David Onyemata tried to work his hands a little bit more. So I think though that's one of the things that you look forward to, and I really feel like Arthur Smith is starting to see what he wanted. He's starting to see his vision come to fruition because, like, with offensive line, defensive line, you talking about competition. It hasn't been. It hasn't been any. Especially between those fronts. So when you have like good on good going each other, that's when you start to see that little increase of jump. And I even talked with Arnold Educator yesterday. He was talking about how having veteran guys like Bud Dupree and stuff like that, guys who've gotten double digit sacks in the
Yeah.
league, he's like a sponge. He's soaking it up. So
Hmm.
all of those things that Arthur Smith has been talking about, we're starting to see it. It's not like coach speak. Like when
Yeah.
people are like, oh, that's just coach speak. No, you see it. You see it, and you understand what they were trying to do, and you starting to see it now. It's happening on the field, and when you have a coach come out and say something like that,
Hmm.
like you have to believe him if you've been out there.
Yeah. You do. You do. And he also said after Tuesday's practice that he had 100% comfort in Bergeron. That's a rookie that he is speaking of. So think about the fact that he came out and he said that he had comfort in what Matt Bergeron was doing in Matt Hennessy's absence. He's also said that he is comfortable and confident in what he's seeing out of Desmond Ritter. And we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow, guys. So make sure you check back in with us because we've got lots more to give you from Flowery Branch. But yeah, when you start to hear that and you start to hear Arthur Smith talk specifically about guys, that's when you start knowing, because there were times, okay, let's be real. First season, second season, he did give us coach speak. And it wasn't because he was trying to be rude or ornery or, uncooperative. He would have just been sounding like he was throwing somebody under the bus if he had said what he
Yep,
really wanted to say
absolutely,
about
absolutely,
that patchwork on
absolutely.
the left side, minus Jake Matthews, of course, but that patchwork on the left side at left guard, that patchwork up front on the defensive side, and we could go on and on. But now he's able to do that. And there's something else you mentioned, and I would imagine, Jarvis, that this is part and parcel to what Ryan Nielsen may have had to say and what Dave Ragone and Arthur Smith may have had to say. Hey, let's see what Matthew Bergeron is about. Onyemata, if he looks like he's ready, give him a little something. You talked about the hands and how he kind of shifted some things around. So I imagine, in addition to Ryan Nielsen helping Onyemata to gel with Grady Jarrett, I think another thing is having that comfort zone of having coached Onyemata in New Orleans. He now knows, okay, I can push you by making you push him. And with Arthur Smith and Dave Ragone seeing what they see, I kind of imagine a conversation happening behind closed doors going, ratchet it up for him because they're confident that he can handle it. Now, I
Yes.
know
That
yesterday,
happens too,
supposedly,
for those who don't
exactly.
know. The
I
coaches
think
do that
so.
all the time, T.
Totally think so. And I would imagine, Jarvis, that I heard yesterday was a little bit milder than it had been a couple days out there. So maybe you were able to kind of get comfortable and kind of see some other things out there as well. What else did you see that you thought, okay, this is what I came here for? I spy this particular thing.
Oh, it has to be AJ Terrell. Because
I
when you
saw your post, guys. You got to
like
see that tweet that Jarvis put out there. I retweeted it as well. It's good stuff.
at Jarvis D90, by the way, and at
Yes.
Tenitra Batiste. Give both of us a follow. Come
Yes.
on.
Reading is
You missing
fundamental,
out on?
guys. Right here.
Yes. Yeah, come on now. There you go. It's right there. And follow our audio listeners at Jarvis D90, at Tenitra Batiste. But yeah, that's the thing that I get excited about because we understand what AJ Terrell brings to the table.
Yes.
And last year, we didn't necessarily see that for the entire season because obviously dealing with injuries and then coming off an injury, there are a lot of little adjustment periods that you have to come through in order to get back to the level where you want to be. So
Right.
seeing him out there working on one-on-ones and I want to say something too because this kind of like people think that some movements and certain things that people do on the field, on the football field, specifically in the NFL, are easy, right? Like there was one thing that I was talking about how like AJ Terrell, he was going up against Drake London, good on good, right? We've been talking about that iron sharp iron. So he kind of flushed him out, kind of got him down to the sidelines, and then kind of rolled him a little bit. Balls in the air. AJ Terrell, as soon as the ball got close, like as soon as Drake London turned around and tried to find the ball, AJ Terrell, boom, same thing, same time. Went up, boom, knocked the ball down. And people think that's easy. I was like, there are so many cornerbacks who have lost jobs because they can't turn around and find the football.
Yep.
Because here's why I say that. Because you have DPI, defensive passive interference. And somebody was like, oh, that's pass interference. I was like, no, yeah, they'll call it from time to time, but I guarantee you, if you talk to a referee and he said if he's turned around trying to find that football,
Turn that head.
you know what I'm saying? If he's turning around trying to find that football, I promise you, he's going to give that cornerback the benefit of the doubt. And AJ Terrell is the type of guy with his level of play, he's going to get that benefit of the doubt. And I think that for me to kind of, I saw it like multiple times yesterday, T. And I'm just like, yeah, talking to some people out there in Flowery Branch, I'm like, yeah, man, this cat might have one of those years that, we might be saying at the end of the year, he might be all pro type level.
Yeah. And also, AJ Terrell probably had some conversation offline with Jerry Gray and some other folks and said, send help. And they heard his appeal, right? And so now you got Jesse Bates III, you've got Jeff Okuda, you've got Richie Grant, who of course they already had, but he's somebody who's coming back better and stronger and faster. So the other piece is, AJ Terrell is going to have an off year. Did you see who he had to work with in the DB room last year? Do you
It was
now
ugly
see?
last year.
I'm
sorry.
no,
let's keep it funky.
Tell the truth. It was not pretty. But this year, there's so much excitement about what that entire room brings to the table. I mean, this is a room where Jarvis, we weren't going down the depth chart last year with enthusiasm. And when I say enthusiasm, I don't want to sound subjective, but meaning like, whoa, we see that AJ Terrell, a Pro Bowler, has something to work with. Now you're literally saying, ooh, I wonder where they're going to line up Jalen Hawkins. Ooh, I wonder how they're going to use D. Alford. These are conversations that we did not have about the DB room last year. So I like the fact that you called out because of course, everybody is kind of looking to see what is going to happen with the pass rush, but please don't sleep on the DB room because it's just as important that if you happen to be a running back, right, and you get to the second level, they're ready for you. If you happen to try to throw the long ball, they got not one, they got two people for you, if not more. So I think that's a really good piece. And then there was something else that Arthur Smith said that I really, really liked. I love to hear it, and I want you guys to hear it as well.
The kind of guys that we have in here, I mean, this was the expectation at every level. I mean, you want guys that want to compete. A lot of guys say they want to compete, and they really want to hide and make sure they have a good hype video or something. They'll have some publicists put out for them or whatever the hell they do. But we got some real dudes, We go there and we try to compete, try to get better, understand the main goal. And so this is the most fun I've had coaching, and so that fires me up every day.
I love to hear that. And Terry Fontenot also said he was excited because it's finally a place, it's finally a time where Atlanta is a place that's a destination for these type of top tier talents. So I really love that quote because like he said, everybody came to slay, as for lack of a better term. Like, nobody's out there just kind of lollygagging or thinking that their job is automatically secure. And even for those whom we know Grady's job is secure, we know Chris Lindstrom's job is secure. Those guys are competing at the highest of levels. That's the type of thing that Arthur Smith has been waiting to see, that he could put guys in position to compete, and so that he could push the envelope with each and every one of them and say, hey, I know you got it on the last play, but go get it again and again and again. And that's what you're seeing out at Flowery Branch. So yeah, when he said he's having fun, I'm like, if you know Arthur Smith, and of course, he's got to throw in a little fun thing, like he said about PR, whatever the hell they do with the hype videos, that's just him. But ultimately speaking, if you know Arthur Smith, if he says he's having fun, Falcons fans need to be very, very encouraged by that, because he's now seeing a good product on the field that he thinks is going to translate in the season.
Yeah, T, I wholeheartedly agree, because I was having some conversations with people who work inside the building, and there is a buzz. The excitement is there. I'm talking about from high level, executives like this. They understand what's on this field right now, and I think Arthur Smith is verbalizing it. And I think that the people who are in the building and kind of handle, the scouting and all that stuff and the business side of things, they understand it too. And I think everybody is on the same page when you're talking about, like, okay, this might be something special this year.
Yeah. And when you hear the word, guys, out of Flowery Branch, what are your thoughts? Let us know every day, or you can drop a comment in the chat if you check us out on YouTube. And of course, we want you to keep on downloading us wherever you get your podcast, because we bring you all the tea and all the heat from Flowery Branch and all over the Atlanta sports landscape each and every day.